Hello and welcome to the Indic podcast. Today, I want to talk about my friends that live outside India, just like me, and everybody, like the Hindu diaspora. Just like you, I've been living in West for over 11 years now. As you know, Indic Renaissance with books, movies, and social media channels propagating true Hindu history and values have begun. This podcast is for all those Hindus that live abroad and are busy in their work Monday to Friday and have absolutely no time to devote to their Hindu culture. Yes, some of them do it, over the weekends. They would go to temples, or they would go and meet their friends, or they would talk about or watch a few channels here and there, or talk about a few issues. But in a nutshell, we do not have something like this wherein we actually talk to directly to each other and talk about these issues that are happening in our own country, in our own backyard. First point that I want to make is we need to learn to associate to different knowledge gurus. First of all, like J. Sai Deepak, who has written India That Is Bharat, um, one of the great books that I've read as well. I have, and then Anand Raghunathan, historian and an author from Jawaharlal Nehru University in India. Sanjay Dikshit ji, who is running the Jaipur Dialogues channel, an amazing podcast and a channel which tells you everything about that you need to know about Hindus and Islam and every all the issues that are happening right now, and completely unfiltered. So it does not have the lens of any political party or anything. So there's no appeasement there. So I would request all of you to please go and follow and subscribe to his channel. It's called the Jaipur Dialogues. I will also put it in the description, all this information. Then there is also Neeraj Atriji, who is doing tremendous work with the Neeraj Atri show. He's been doing it for over a year now, and believe me, I was actually watching one of his earlier videos about a few years ago, where he mentioned that almost about 15 years ago he got into blogging, and he did not have any idea about religions and all. He used to think Hindus and Islam and everything, they are all same religions, and how over the years we had been sugar-coated and have been taught wrong history, because of which we all become like that. I think he's a theoretical physicist, and a great one, but he also chose to talk about Hinduism and Hindu issues. Then there is Sri Ayerji, who lives in USA, and he runs the channel called P Gurus. It's a big channel now, amazing content, and you should also follow that. I will put that in the description. Then there are so many of these kind of YouTube channels, or people who write great books, like Vikram Sampatji, who wrote great books about Veer Savarkar. I mean, imagine, till the last 4 to 5 years back, we didn't have a knowledge about who Veer Savarkar ji is, right? Maybe we might have heard once or twice, but we didn't know exactly what he has written. And if we actually read Vikram Sampat's book on Veer Savarkar, we will get to know how proud and how great he was, Veer Savarkar, and what he has written in the prison, when he was prisoned for almost 27 years in the prison. And I would request you to all go ahead and read those books as well. So all these great scholars, we never care to know what they're saying, right? We need to start listening to them now. If it means taking about 30 minutes to an hour over the weekend, that should do. I understand that we all live, work, and live abroad, and we have busy lifestyle, Monday to Friday. Completely understand that, because I myself doing it, and I have little kids, and still I try to manage, try to find time wherein I listen to these great people and try and understand what exactly has happened to us. I mean, imagine we can go for watching movies on the weekends for like 2 hours in theater, so almost like 3 hours of your time gone on that. Just spare some time for these things as well, because it will really enlighten you. It will really help you understand what our true decolonial knowledge is. because the knowledge that has been given to us for the last 40, 50, 60 years has all been one-sided, has all been wrong, and has all been glorifying. Imagine invaders like Aurangzeb and others, people who have actually killed a lot of Hindus in one day alone. People who have decimated our Hindu temples, people who have these people like Aurangzeb's, they have decimated not just our Hindu temples, but try to also eradicate Hinduism from this earth. I mean, why did Khilji try to destroy Nalanda University? Was an amazing research topic. He believed that doing that will ensure that um, Islam will spread especially um not the normal Islam that are so many Indians follow, but it's the Arabic Islam. There is a difference, and that's the reason why I say, go to these channels like the Jaipur Dialogues and P Gurus and others. They will exactly tell you the difference. So the secularism that has been fed into us for over the years tells us everything wrong. It tells us that all religions are same. They're not. I mean, no disrespect to any other religion, but no one religion, no two religion are the same. They cannot be secular. And then you may ask, why is it important? Why should I listen? It is important because it is about our roots. Imagine for a moment your ancestors. Let's go back to 1000 to 2000 years back. Imagine how many sacrifices they have given so that today in the 21st century we are where we are, or we can live the way we live, right? They have never given up on the idea of Hinduism. But now, because of these colonial powers and Islamic invaders, our whole consciousness for almost 1000 years about Bharat has been done. We are ashamed to talk about our own religion, about our own dharma to foreigners when we are living with them, when we are when we are eating food with them, when we are going on a walk with them, when we are socializing with them. We feel ashamed about the fact that we are Hindus, but that shouldn't be. And how can you learn not to become like that, and also educate some of the fake liberal Hindus, people who just try to show that they are modern Hindus by abusing Hindu culture and all. They actually don't know exactly what has happened. So we don't have to teach them anything. We just have to show them the real facts when we are talking about it, and those real facts can only be gathered when we read these books, when we follow these channels, which are absolutely have no agenda. They do not talk about breaking up some other religion, breaking up some other parts of India, or so many stuff that the left liberals and their cabal at NDTV and other places. Our ancestors never thought that they are giving their lives as sacrifice just so that we only follow this rat race of earning more euros, more dollars, more pounds. And they didn't have any idea. They didn't think that the world will evolve like this, that one day Hinduism, the carriers of Hinduism, which is us, will not actually follow it, will actually denounce it. They had no idea. Otherwise, why would they give their lives at the age of 25 or 30 or 45 to fight with an Islamic invader, to not give up, to not convert? We need to learn to accept our reality. There is a reason why West and other countries don't respect our values, because we are not proud of them. So, for example, if your kid is in the school and somebody say something bad about your kid, if you're not protecting your kid's rights, if you're not talking back, and if you're not giving it back to the bully, then who will? Nobody else will come and save your kid or you. You will have to do it yourself, right? So you will have to oppose, you will have to say there can be dire consequences if you do that again, or you would have to take it to the right authorities, right? So Same goes with our culture. If we do not protect it, well, it's already not looking so good. So we need to unite, we need to talk about it through these social channels. And social media has given us a great weapon. I mean, the weapon of connecting with each other, to share ideas. I would welcome any one of you to come to my podcast and talk about it, talk about Hinduism. What do you know more? How can we make it better in our Hindu diaspora, global Hindu diaspora? I was talking about these pseudo liberals that and this pseudo liberalism that has been infused in us from our childhood, through schools, universities, Bollywood movies, and through our wrong history. These are the reasons why we feel inferior sometimes when we see a white person, or when we are outside our country. We don't need to. I mean, a white person is a white person, or a little more rich, and they have good cars or good homes, or the way they speak. It's all the idea of our mind. It's Nobody says that they are better than you. It's just the idea of your mind, and that has happened because of the inferior. We should not think inferior. Why? I mean, we are from the land of rishis and munis with great knowledge. um, in our Vedas and Granths, there are numerous examples and mention of scientific knowledge. Even the word that we proudly chant has a scientific notion to it. The word Om, right? So, according to Hinduism, Om is a sound between us and the sun. How scientific is that? I mean, if you research more about this topic, you will be blown away by the fact that this was invented something like 5,000 to 10,000 years ago, when no other religion has even come to this earth yet. I mean, the Abrahamic religions like Islam and Christianity only came about 2,000 years ago, right? And so we need to feel proud. We had a splendid past that we need to secure. Whichever country that we go to, people so proudly talk about their 100-year-old traditions, and or monuments, or their culture, or their history, isn't it? I mean, if you're in America, they would talk about their monuments, their presidents, their old culture in these conservative states like Oklahoma and Mississippi and other. But that's just, imagine, that's just 100 years or 150 years ago. Ours is 10,000 years ago, and we are not protecting it. We are not talking about it to the world. We should. We are the ambassadors of our own of our own culture. So imagine that there are religions who are not even born yet. I've told you about it, right? In our religion, um, Earth and the Moon, we have actually found out the distance between that even before science was invented. Some thousand years ago. So how did that happen? In our Vedas, we have the mention of the solar system, accurate mention of the solar system and how the universe works. How is that possible? That is possible because we had the scientific way of um, doing those experiments, by the spiritual knowledge that our rishis and munis have acquired through meditation and through a lot of research that has been done at that time. And some people might say there is no evidence to it. Of course, there is no evidence, and that is the reason we exist today. We need to find those evidence, and we need to tell the world that, look, what our Vedas of 8,000 years ago said is actually right, because here is the proof. So why don't we read about Vedas? Why don't we share that knowledge with the world? It is our duty. We should do it. It is only Hinduism which is not a religion. It is a dharma. Right? So how amazing is that? The second point that I want to talk about is, so I used to think, why do we Indians are not united when we come out of India? That is not true, actually. Not entirely true. So if you look at Tamil people or Kannadas or others, they are so proud about their culture and their traditions that they all celebrated their festivals and their festivities and their um, everything in their culture. They talk in their own language, right? uh, you've never heard them talking so much in English, because again, English is a colonial thing given to us. That's not the real us. I mean, the blood in our body, the DNA that we have, is of Sanskrit, is of Tamil, is of Hindi. Staying on to that topic of Indians, it is only, I think, I found it with North Indians that denounce their own sort of culture, because again, the presence of these Islamic invaders was more in North India than in south of India, and that's the reason why that loss of consciousness and loss of connecting to your own roots happened. While if you see people from South India, they're so much connected to their roots, and it's so beautiful that they are. And I'm not saying that all North Indians. Yes, I have so many friends that we are still connected, even though I live in Sweden, they live in US, somebody live in Australia, and we're still in touch. Sometimes we talk in Haryanvi, sometimes we talk in Punjabi. Um, but the point is that we are not as united as other regions of India are, and we should be, because we all know. I mean, the reason why we all got divided by the divided rule of first Islam and then Christians, British in 17th or 18th century, is all because of the fact that we think that we are Brahmins or we are Kshatriyas, or so this Varna system, which later Britishers called it as the caste system, is what they have explored, is what they have exploited so beautifully. And that's why, if you see, when we are outside India, we are not Indians. We call ourselves, I'm a Delhiite, I'm a Mumbaiker, I'm a Tamil, I'm a Kannada, right? We should say Indians first. We should say we are all Indians first. We are Bharatiya first. And that is what this unity amongst us will bring a huge amount of change. I mean, if you see, I used to advocate the fact that population is our biggest problem, but somehow I was also wrong in the fact that population is our real strength too, because population gives you that advantage of being more. So when you're more, you have more push, you have more force, you have more people to talk about the narrative, and then you will be listening more, right? So instead of being Mumbaiker, Delhiite, Tamil, Kannada, we should all be same. That is only Indians. Um, so this is the time when we should assert our dominance in the world by telling the world that yes, we had been suppressed for over 1,000 years by various external influences, but now is the time to go back to our roots and tell the world that this is where Sanatan Dharma has started. This is where humanity has actually started to live by Mohenjo-daro, Harappa and Mohenjo-daro. That is where cities happened. How did that happen 4,000, 5,000 years ago? It's all because of Sanatan Dharma. It's all because of Hinduism. It's all because of the kind of knowledge that has been shared by our learned scholars of that time. Honestly, nobody is saying that we should not follow our dharma. Definitely nobody can, nobody is saying that we should not follow our karma, which is where we are working today. We should be continue working as we are. We should progress like we are doing in terms of becoming CEOs and CTOs of these companies. These big companies like Google and Twitter and Microsoft and others. But at the same time, we should not forget that we are also the ambassadors of our own country and also about him. If we are not able to assert that properly, then all this success and everything is just very, very minuscule. It doesn't mean anything. Just recently, somebody asked me, why do you do this? Like, and I've started this podcast. I have another podcast on artificial intelligence and science topics called the Sci AI podcast, and I started this Indic podcast recently. But so somebody asked me, why did you start this? I mean, why do you get into religion and Hinduism and all? You look fairly like a modern guy with tech knowledge and all, and doing well outside. And my reply was, none of our bosses or colleagues that we love to go with lunch and love to socialize and spend time with, play golf and others, they will never come and rescue our culture. So it is us, it is on to us that we become the true ambassadors of this. And nobody says that we should leave our job and get into activism about these issues. All I'm trying to propagate here or propose here is that we should all understand the right narrative first. I mean, movements and activism is a thing that can come later. First, we need to understand who we are. We actually don't know everything that has been taught. Like I said before, everything that has been taught to us was wrong. I'm not saying mathematics or science, because there is no agenda in it. There's no that's all fine. But what I'm talking about is history, our own culture, our value, and that changed us. How did that change us? It changed us in the way we watch movies, in the way we supported movies for the last 30, 40 years, in the way we act. We think wearing, pant and shirt and skirts and all make us cool. Yeah, maybe you think like that. I used to think like that too, but it's not true. Please, if you like this video and this podcast, please share it with your friends and family, and subscribe to my podcast. Next time, please, if you happen to come to this video, please also share what kind of topics that you want me to talk about. Yeah, so that was my initiative of talking to my Hindu diaspora, and I will continue to make videos and discussions like this. I would welcome you all. Let's build Hinduism again together. Have a great day. Bye bye.